the way to go. Okay, so welcome to the show, Annabel. It's lovely to have you in the studio.
Thank you for having me. This all looks amazing.
Right, we have a lot to talk about here.
We do.
I want to talk about football. I want to talk about your journey in general. But where did the swimming journey start? What sparked it?
Well, it's a really funny story, actually. I was coming towards the end of my chemo treatment, and I was still on immunotherapy, and it was part of my physiotherapy that I would go swimming. And it was just a public pool, and I had broken my wrist at the time trying to ride a bike, relearning to ride a bike, yeah. So I was swimming with a broken wrist, still on immunotherapy, and I was just swimming with my physiotherapist, and I got spotted by a para coach who just saw me swimming and was like, oh, you know, how fast can you swim? Can you swim 50 metres? Can I time you? And he timed me, and he was really, really happy with the time that I got. And he just said, you should start training. You should start this para swim pathway. And it was all so fast, because I was no hair, broken wrist, on immunotherapy, and that is where it began. And he just said, start training, you could go really far. So I hadn't even thought about swimming really until that very moment.
And that was just at a public
swimming pool, yeah. And he was...
What are the chances?
I know, exactly. It's just like, it was crazy, and he was there. I don't know why he was there, but he used to be a para coach for Derby, and yeah, he moved to Cannock, Phoenix, which is 10 minutes away from where I live. And he just said, come along, come train with me. And I did, and I instantly fell in love with it.
Wow. And so at this point, you said you just finished chemo. Had you had your amputation?
Yes.
At that moment?
Yes. So this is on the back end of my treatment. So chemo was finished, but I was having immunotherapy, which is supposed to train your cancer cells, your white blood cells, to kill cancer cells better.
Wow, that is an incredible story, and not what I was expecting you to say.
No.
So it started quite a long time ago then.
Yes.
If you don't mind, can you go back and can we talk about your story and where it all came from, like you becoming an amputee?
Yeah, so I was an extremely sporty kid. I did so much. I played football, I did cross country, I did do swimming lessons, never competitive swimming. I played netball for my school, and so I did so much. And one day my knee just started aching, and it was really strange. It was aching all the time when I was sleeping. When I was in school, I couldn't sit still because my knee was just so sore. And I just assumed, I do so much sport, it's an injury of some sort. And my mum was the same. When I was ill, she always said, just go into school, you're fine. That was the kind of mindset we had. So I was just like, oh, I'm fine, it's just an injury or something. Until one day I was in school and I just couldn't take it anymore. And I was just like, I can't do this. And so I phoned my mum and I was like, Mum, it's really, really hurting. I don't want to be in school right now. And she, as the typical mum says, if I'm taking you out of school, we're going to get an X-ray. And it was strange because we were actually kind of laughing about it in the waiting room, like, oh, I'm going to get a cast, like, what's going to happen? And I had an X-ray and the nurse just said, it's not normal. And I had to go to another hospital for an MRI, and I was told I have osteosarcoma, which is a very rare bone cancer. Only 30 children in the UK get it a year, which is insane. And from that point on, my world just kind of fell apart. I had to have a 1.5 years of chemotherapy, an amputation, nearly died of sepsis on the way from an infection in my central line, and then the cancer returned to my lungs, so I had to have a lung surgery, which my lung was collapsed in the process. And then I had another lung surgery after that, and my lung was collapsed again. So it was a very, very rough 1.5 years to 2 years of treatment and surgeries and immunotherapy, as I've mentioned, and it was just something you never envisioned to happen. You just never would guess it, would you? But it happened, and it sucked, but there's only one way forward, and you just have to kind of pick yourself back up, even in the worst of times, and just find the positive.
It's emotional, and it's beautiful to hear your story and to see how you have picked up and carried on, because you've not just picked up and carried on, you're doing absolutely incredible things. We're going to talk more about the swimming, about the amputee football, but there's modelling, there's acting, there's so many things going on in your life. You're grabbing life by the absolute horns.
Thank you.
Is that about that experience? Is the sort of way that you've dealt with this? Because the amputation, for example, you've not just embraced it, you've not just, you are absolutely owning that is part of you, and you're celebrating it. Is that part of your mentality and your journey, do you think?
I think after what I've been through, you just realise how precious life is, because I was with sepsis on the brink of death. Literally, it was awful, and it just puts things in perspective, and you think, wow, you need to grab life. You need to grab every opportunity that you get, because you don't know what's going to happen in the future. You don't know how long you have left. You don't know what awaits you. And so since then, I have just said yes to absolutely everything, and I've just chased my dreams, and I'm still chasing them. And there's so many dreams that I want to achieve, like the acting, for example. My heart is in acting, and I would love to be in films and series, and I'm having acting lessons and American accent lessons as well. And it's just being proactive and actually grabbing life and every second, and being grateful for every second that you get, even if I'm just, let's say I can't sleep at night and I'm lying in bed and I'm a bit frustrated, I can't fall asleep. Actually, I'm safe, and I'm in my house, and I'm in my own bed, and I'm not in a hospital room. It's just those little moments that you might not appreciate at the time. It puts things in perspective after what you've been through. Beautifully said. And I think, I don't know if I've spoke about this a lot on the radio, but obviously this is an experience that we share. Yeah.
Because I had cancer as a child too, and I like to think that I'm trying to do some of the same things. But I mean, when I look at the things that you are doing, and you're actually not even that far out, really. It was only, a few years ago that this happened to you. You've already won the Golden Boot at the Amputee World Cup. And I think the thing to mention here is you went to the Amputee World Cup with the England team, but you guys had to raise the money to do that. So that's hurdle number one. How do we raise the money? You managed to raise the money. You told us here on Radio Stoke about doing that. Then you went to the World Cup, and then you got the Golden Boot. Like, I know this was 12, 18 months ago now, but how do you reflect on that experience? Because that's incredible before we even speak about para swimming. Yeah, well, first of all, I do think you're very inspiring as well. After what you've been through and what you're doing now, I truly look up to you. So that's very sweet. Thank you. And in terms of the Golden Boot in the World Cup, it was honestly just like a dream. And sometimes I look back at it, I'm like, did that actually happen? Like, did I actually go to the World Cup and win the Golden Boot? Like, seriously, like, in what world am I living in right now? But no, it was a really good experience, and being there with my teammates after having to raise so much money, thinking we weren't even going to go in the first place. It was truly, truly magical. And, the football is a charity. The EAFA has to fund all the competitions themselves, and they're actually having a World Cup every 2 years now, because obviously the sport is so new and we want to get it out there as much as possible. There's more competitions being arranged, and it's just a matter of how are we going to get there without the money. It's tough. Yeah. It's difficult, but I have no doubt that you will chase that dream as part of the many, many dreams that you're chasing at the moment, which I absolutely love. And I'm the same. I can't choose. I want to do all of the things, because you never know. Yeah, why not? Just give it a go. Yeah. And that's what you're doing now with para swimming. So let's go back to the start of that journey. So you're not long after this really difficult experience, after the chemo, the immunotherapy, the amputation, and somebody goes, do you know what, you're actually pretty good at this. You're actually all right at swimming. Yeah, maybe you should think about this. And then there's quite a complex classification situation, isn't there? So talk me through what happened next. What happened after that? So the classification process, it takes so long. It took me a year and a half to 2 years to get classified, and
how the classification works is you will be put in a category, basically, depending on your level of disability. So as an above knee amputee, I am in a category with other above knee amputees and amputees that have 2 legs and are missing part of their hand or part of their arm. Now, I don't know how fair that is, because in front crawl, they have more power with their legs, and I've not got relatively big hands, so I've got 2 little shovels trying to like pull me through the water. You can tell how new I am to swimming by my use of technical terms. But yeah, it was a really interesting process. They just measured my limb, my little leg as I call it, and they watched me swim, and that was pretty much it. And then I took part in a para competition in the afternoon. So it was a very quick process when we got to it, but that process in the beginning took a year and a half to get to that point.
Wow.
Yeah.
What has it been like joining the world of para swimming? Because you are new to it. Like, so many people have been doing it since they were children
exactly.
Their whole lives.
I'm definitely the underdog in the S9. I'm an S9 swimmer, so I'm definitely the underdog in the S9 category. But compared to the football world, swimming is so much more intense. I thought football was intense, but with swimming you have to get all this gear and the Crocs and all this stuff that and the swimming costumes that apparently make you faster. It's so exciting though, and I really enjoy it. I'm swimming with just a mainstream club with, you know, all able-bodied people, and I do a lot of mainstream galas, so I'm swimming against people with 2 legs, just 2 arms, 2 hands, and it's quite funny because you are put in a heat based on your time. So I'll be up against people with the similar time as me. Now, those are usually 12-year-olds, and obviously because I've got 1 leg, I'm obviously going to be slower than people my age. So I'm against 12-year-olds, and I'm naturally very tall. So when I'm against these 12-year-olds, we line up and we walk to our blocks, and I just tower over them. And it's really funny because I'm just the tallest one there. They look so small compared to me, and then I have to take my leg off in front of the crowd of everybody watching, and I have to balance on the block without my leg on. So it's definitely been a process of getting used to everything, but it is very exciting and I do really enjoy it.
What's the plan? What's the goal? What would you like to do with para swimming?
Well, obviously I'm so new to this, and you know, I think maybe in the future, if I'm good enough, I will, fingers crossed, go to a Paralympics. I don't think that will be 2028. I think it will probably be, if I do, 2032 maybe.
You never know.
Well, I mean, you never know, but I actually have a gala this weekend coming up, and I also have a gala in Swansea where I'm against all the professional S9 swimmers, and that's where they qualify for the Commonwealth Games. And listen, it's so cool, but I think with everything that's going on in my life with the modelling and the acting, and I'm actually the first youth ambassador for the Bone Cancer Research Trust, there's just so much that I do that right now it is a hobby for me, and I can only really swim 3 times a week. And with the level of training that these S9 swimmers do, if I were to go to the Paralympics or the Commonwealth Games, it would be training every day, and I would have to put so much work into that. And I think at the moment I'm just still figuring out what path I want to take, and I'm still in that space where I want to do everything, and I don't want to set my mind on one thing right now if there's other things that I want to do as well.
Well, you've got options. You've got many options in front of you. So that competition, you say you're going to be against all of the sort of professionals who are trying to qualify for the Commonwealth Games. What if, like, we just put it out there, what if you swam a time that was competitive with that? What if? Does that mean that you would get to go to the Commonwealth Games?
I don't think I will be able to swim as fast as them, if I'm being completely honest. Again, I'm the underdog. I'm so new to this. I am getting faster, but they have been training since they were so young. And there's people that are amputees that have been born like that, or have lost their legs so much earlier, and so they've had a lot more time to get faster and get used to swimming as an amputee. Me, I don't think I will swim that fast, but I mean, you can only dream.
Yeah, just why not? Give it absolutely everything you've got. What was that like, actually, learning to swim as an amputee? You say you have to take your leg off before a race. Is it obviously you had to learn to walk again after your amputation. Is it a similar experience with swimming, or how did you take to that?
Swimming feels exactly the same.
Okay.
It's not that different. And I remember I was speaking with my mum when I first started swimming, and she said, "Annabel, aren't you just going to swim in circles? Because obviously you don't have that extra power on your left side." And I was like, Mum, no, I'm not going to swim in circles because my other arm compensates. But no, it feels exactly the same. It just feels very natural. But it's really interesting that in the water, my little leg doesn't move. Because if I try and kick with my little leg, it kind of puts me off balance, because obviously it's not really doing anything, is it? But no, it feels exactly the same as it did before, just without one of my legs.
Do you have to put a bit more through your, if you call that one your little leg, your big leg? Or
Yeah.
your regular leg?
Yeah,
I don't know what you call it.
It's little leg and big leg. And it's quite funny in my family that little leg gets all the attention. And every so often we say, "Oh, big leg, you're doing a good job, big leg," you know.
You're doing a lot,
we
big
forget
leg.
about you sometimes, but yeah, you're doing a lot.
I think, it's interesting you say it's a hobby when you are putting a lot of time into it. You're training 3 times a week. You're going to be at a competition with the professionals and sort of part of that. And you're swimming in able-bodied competitions and doing all of these things. How do you prepare for that when you go into it? Because if I know anything about you, and I know a little bit about you now, I don't think you approach it like a hobby. I think you take it seriously, or do you approach it in a relaxed way? How do you prepare when you're going into a competition?
I just think that life is so much bigger than we realise. Little things like competitions, they don't matter as much as you think in the grand scheme of things, if that makes sense. And obviously I try my best, and I try and swim as fast as I can. I'm not the fastest, but it's fun, and I'm doing it for enjoyment at the moment. And I'm not sure, obviously, until it becomes every day, if it's something that I'll definitely take to.
How do you balance your time between all of these things? Because you recently did your GCSEs,
Yes,
didn't you?
yeah.
So now you're balancing your time between swimming, maybe playing a little bit of football still, and the acting and the modelling and the auditions. How does your life look at the moment? Is it different every day, every week?
Listen, I take a day at a time, because there's so much that I do that I just need to kind of stop and assess each day. With modelling, with acting, I'm almost filming self-tape every day. Swimming in the evenings, sometimes gym in the evenings when I'm not going swimming. Football's restarting soon, so that should be good. You just got to grab life, and you just got to take every opportunity. And that's what I promised to myself in hospital, is that whatever opportunities that I get, just say yes, because you don't know what it's going to lead to.
You have no idea. Like, just that person in the swimming baths who said, "Hey, do you know what? You could do that. That's got you to this point."
Yeah.
And the auditions and every single moment. You're absolutely right. Now, this might be quite a difficult question, because I think you're still working out which path you're going to go full speed down, or go down all of them. You absolutely can. What would success look like if we were sat here in 12 months' time?
Oh, that's such a good question. Honestly, success to me, obviously I would love to be an actress, I'd love to be a model, I'd love to be a swimmer. But the true success, I think, is just being happy in whatever I choose to do, just being content, and just being with my family, just enjoying life, because that's what life's about. No matter what you do, if you're not enjoying what you're doing, then there's no point in doing it. So I think success to me, 12 years' time, just being happy, whether that is being an actress or being a model or being a swimmer or being a footballer still, but just being happy.
All of them.
All of them, exactly.
If you could speak to a professional sports person who's able-bodied, what would you say as your advice that you have learned from being an amputee, because it's a different experience and you've had to go through something very traumatic that not every single sports person has had to face. We all have different circumstances, different lives, different events, but have you got any advice that you think is specific to being you and going through your experience that would help an athlete? Is it about taking it not quite as seriously? You know, you want to train and you've got to do all the right things, but looking at the bigger picture of life, or is there another piece of advice?
Definitely. I think when you're an athlete, you can get so caught up in, you know, the competitions and the pressure of being an athlete and being a swimmer, and you can really feel it. Like when I'm at competitions, like you can feel like there's pressure and it's like you need to swim fast and just go. But my advice would just be, I don't want to like make it smaller than it is, but there's bigger things, and if enjoyment is the biggest thing for me, it's if you're not enjoying it, then there's no point. But yeah, just enjoy what you do, and life's not that deep. Life can change in a split second, and don't put so much pressure on yourself that it's unbearable type thing.
I think that's absolutely lovely advice. Thank you so much for coming in and being so open, so honest, and sharing your story about the many really exciting things that you're up to. And I'm really excited to see what you do next.
Thank you so much for having me. It's been so lovely to chat with you today.
Perfect. That's beautiful.
Oh, lovely.